NBL fans know that January is Dunkuary, and we have seen some unbelievable dunks in the NBL across Dunkuary. We're more than halfway through, so we need these athletes to keep slamming the ball through the hoop. More than $40,000 has been raised already, but we need more because last year we got over $55.5K donated for the Australian prostate cancer research. And $500, of course, remember, $500 is donated every time we see a slam dunk. So keep on dunking, NBL stars, and enjoy Dunkuary.
You know the score. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
My State Bank Arena's going nuts. This has been a mighty quarter from Tasmania. Splash, splash, splash for the JackJumpers. He might one day be the premier of that stadium. Kelly puts the emphasis on it. They are riding the wave of momentum right now, the JackJumpers. That's 5 of their last 7. The Phoenix return to their heartland.
Massive game, must-win type of territory.
He's been the man. Oh, you're kidding me!
My God.
This could be very hard for the Phoenix. The unthinkable is going to happen. 5 losses on the trot for the Phoenix. Not many of us saw that coming.
Live from the Silverdome in Launceston, round 16 of the Hungry Jacks NBL tips off with a final shaping clash between the JackJumpers and Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. The Tassie fans have embraced the Defend the Island mantra of the JackJumpers, and their second and final NBL23 game in Launceston has drawn a capacity and boisterous crowd as we welcome you to Northwest Tasmania. Hello everybody, I'm John Casey. Glad you could join us here for what is a crucial game in the NBL 23. The NBL ladder shows the JackJumpers holding down 4th spot at the moment, but a loss here tonight and they are going to tumble out of a double chance and go through to a 5th position and sudden death equation, while the Phoenix are out to snap a 5-game losing streak that has seen them tumble from 3rd on the ladder just 3 weeks ago. Tonight is also the start of Heritage Round in the Hungry Jacks NBL, where all teams will wear a retro singlet to acknowledge their great past and history in the competition. The Tassie Devils are the JackJumpers are wearing a Tassie Devils throwback singlet and have unfurled the 1981 NBL Championship banner won by Launceston, which for years had gone missing, but tonight we are also tinged with sadness as we pay our respects to former Devonport Warriors player and coach Mark Leader, who sadly passed away yesterday. American-born Leader played 327 games in the NBL across 12 seasons for Devonport, Geelong and North Melbourne, where he won 2 titles, captaining the 1994 championship winning team. And on behalf of the league and all its fans, we pass on our sincere condolences to Mark's family. And now your commentators for tonight, Jenny Screen, Damon Lowry and Joel Peterson.
Thank you, Case. Certainly echo those sentiments. Jen and Damon, as Case noted, this has playoff implications written all over it, particularly for Southeast Melbourne after that loss to Brisbane on Monday night by 5 points, a game that most expected that they would win, and they let it slip.
And they're always the games where you expect to win, that sometimes they're a little bit harder than what you planned for, and that Brisbane came to play and the Heartland would be very disappointed with that output from the Southeast Melbourne. They didn't shoot very well. 34% from the field on the night is uncharacteristic of this man, and Damo, it was one that could actually have really good bad implications for the finals.
It could definitely come back to haunt them. If we thought that game was must-win, this one is super-duper must-win. They just absolutely have to get the job done. And the Phoenix, I'm expecting them to come out very desperate, led by Mitch Creek, to make sure they keep their hopes alive.
As we saw, they couldn't put it together down the stretch, and this is a situation of where they've been. So going into round 12, they were 3rd on the table. They've lost their past 5 games, the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They sit 7th as we head into round 16 tonight, and it does not get any easier for them coming up next, because their run home starts tonight in Tassie, and then they've got Perth, who are 5th, Cairns, who are 2nd, and Sydney, who top the table.
It's all about focusing on the now and what you control, and that is the game tonight against the JackJumpers. The rest will take care of itself, and we'll see what will happen. But they know they can beat those teams, but tonight they must be business.
Let's take a look at the JackJumpers. A really strong win for them last time out over the 36ers, paced by a couple of big performances, Damon, but a career best night for Jack McVeigh with 28 points against the Sixers.
Jack McVeigh has been in scintillating form coming off the bench. He's embraced that role, and he's instant offense. He's just the barometer emotionally for this team, and I'm expecting him to do the exact same thing when he steps on the court tonight.
He's got beautiful energy, doesn't he? I mean, he contributes in the stats form, but the other things he brings is just the positivity to his game. Both ends of the floor. He's a great two-way player. And when he's stroking it from deep, good things are happening for Tassie.
Speaking of two-way players, Milton Doyle, 28 for him as well. He's in the thick of the first-team discussion in the NBL.
And he ain't the silent assassin for no reason. It's just a 40-minute stops, and then all of a sudden you look at his stat line, and he's just stacked it unbelievably. His last 4 games, Domo, he's had 20 points at a 50% clip, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He's just hard to stop, isn't he?
That conversation is over because he's in the first team as far as I'm concerned. Let's stop talking about it. Milton Doyle just waits for the clutch as well. He's a very patient scorer. He knows how to get it done.
Champion starting 5 for Tasmania, Damon.
We're going to go with Joshua Jett leading from the front. The scout Ant, Rashard Kelly, Will Magnay, Milton Doyle we just spoke about, and Sam McDonald comes into the lineup.
And the champion 5 for Simon Mitchell and the Phoenix, Jen.
Well, not much has changed except for Gary Brown obviously comes in. He's still trying to find his feet post his injury, but they didn't play, or he didn't play rather, in the first 2 outings. So expect him to try and run havoc against the defense of the JackJumpers. But Ryan Brockhoff, let's hope he has a shooting night out tonight. He's been trying to find form and hasn't yet. And Alan Williams, he's got to be big down low.
Well, they're both pretty much at full strength, these two sides, and they need to beat tonight because this is as close to a must-win as you'll get down the stretch. Tassie trying to solidify their playoff position. Southeast Melbourne trying to stay in the fight and avoid another road loss and a 6th straight L on the record. There'll be a Phoenix ball off the opening tip. Gary Brown, who had those late-game struggles on Monday night, and that loss to Brisbane, almost tosses it away on the opening possession. Mitch Creek able to regain it. Brown goes back to work, long 2. A little bit strong. He and Cal started so brightly against the Bullets on Monday. Creek passes up a 3. Brown passes up a 3. Creek passes up another 3. Gets a little right-hand push shot, and that's not the best start for the Phoenix.
Now, just because they shot 4 for 200 last game from the 3-point line, they can't come into this game now being tentative. Everybody's passing down wide open shots. That's not the way to start.
Shoot the fewest 3-pointers in the competition, 24.5 a game, the Phoenix this season. Doyle turns the corner, and he's fouled by Calvin Williams coming over the top.
And this is going to be the task for Southeast Melbourne tonight. We know their pick-and-roll defense they struggled with against Brisbane at home the other night, and this is an area they're going to have to tidy up. We know how effective Milton Doyle is off the pick-and-roll. His smarts, his IQ, his ability to worm and navigate through some small spaces. If they're any chance to win this one, they've got to lock that up and lock it up early.
He's a crafty player, Milton Doyle, and of course, Williams found himself in some early trouble on Monday night as well. Doyle averaging 89% of the free throw line this season. A little bit strong with the first. Maybe amped up in those gorgeous Tassie Heritage Round jumpers. Get to see all 10 of them through round 16 of NBL23. Heritage Round, some beautiful strips that we'll see across the course of the weekend. That's a beautiful start for Ryan Brockhoff, who goes bang from the corner to open the Phoenix's account.
And that helps the shooter's confidence for Ryan Brockhoff. Never help strong side would be the message from Roth. Ever help strong side, but Ryan laps that one up and drains it.
Spent some time on the sidelines with injury to start the season, and again in the middle of the season, Brockhoff, as Jen said pre-game, he hasn't quite found that shooting touch. Hopefully tonight's the night. Doyle inside, lovely move. And that's an easy 2 for Magnay.
First offensive rebound of the night for the JackJumpers, and the damn sure won't be their last one. Will Magnay gets on the glass and keeps it alive. And straight away, you saw him pick up on defense full court. They all do it.
It's Doyle laying himself out on the floor, but can't keep it in. We'll take a look at the Amy replay of the opening salvo from Ryan Brockhoff.
And you can just see McDaniel just helping a little bit too hard, strong side. That's just good penetration, though, to attract the defense on that side and finding what they signed him for, his shooting ability, and Ryan Brockhoff in the corner.
Shooting at 37%. His 31st three of the season for Rowdy. Here's Cal from downtown. That one's well and truly off target. Williams chases it down. And that's going to go the other way.
Big Sauce got to make sure he stays engaged and stays out of foul trouble. He picked up some early fouls. He let his emotions get the best of him against Brisbane. They're going to need him tonight 30-plus minutes, and you know Taz's going to try to put him in as many ball screens as possible.
Been such a force for them this season, Williams. 11 double-doubles, averaging 9 rebounds a game. Go with a healthy scoring clip of 16.5 points. Here's Rashad Kelly working on Cal, tries to push him off the spot. Good defense from Trey Cal. He wins the ball back for the Phoenix.
And that's one of the main reasons Phoenix signed him, for his ability to play lock-up defense. And we can't underestimate how difficult it is. He keeps him one way, shifts him back the other, stays connected at all times, walls up, gets a cheeky handy in, and then forces the turnover. Great defense there.
Giving away around 8 centimetres in terms of height there, Cal, but nothing in terms of effort. Almost lost it again, the Phoenix. Here's Brockhoff again. Bangs another one in.
Good start by Rowdy. The ball's moving, is touching everybody's hands, making the good passes. The extra pass, Rowdy with his feet set is just about automatic.
So 6 points for the Phoenix, 6 points for Ryan Brockhoff. Very promising start for the Southeast Melbourne marksman. McDaniel lost it coming through the lane. Williams takes it away. Creek on the other end, denied by Magnay. Big block from the weak side. And now the Jackies run the break. Kelly takes it all the way in. He can't get it to go. A slow start offensively for the JackJumpers. The Phoenix continue to get it through sets of hands on the offensive end. Foul down low.
And you mentioned a slow start offensively for Tassie, but they're a grind team. They're 8th in the league in terms of scoring, 85 points per game. Their last 5, though, they've punched way above their weight with 93, but they have that capability to have a grind game. They don't need to score big points because we know how great they are defensively, holding most teams to 82 across the regular season.
Like the slowest pace in the league as well, Tassie on the offensive end. Here's Brockhoff, just trying his luck now. That was a heat check. Came up empty.
He had to shoot it. Anytime he got 2 in a row, cannot be messing around.
He's got the ultimate green light, Damon. Prislovich goes to work. He pulls up short. Kelly and Williams tangle. And then Scott Roth gets involved as well.
Damos, how's the desperation? We've had a few passages of play now where everyone is diving on the loose ball. We know that both these teams lead the league 1 and 2 in overboards, but just the desperation from the big boys.
And this is what's needed because we are in the middle of January and every game has ramifications. So it's good to see the Phoenix coming out aggressive like this on defensive end because they got to leave it all out there.
It's always going to be physicality in this game. Alan Williams said after the loss to Brisbane on Monday, they needed to show far more fight as Brown takes it inside and he'll go to the line to add the bonus.
Gary Brown, one of my favorite guards to watch play out here. He's so shifty with the ball. He works the ball screen here, changes directions, and he can just elevate just for a little fella. I know he says he thinks he can dunk, but once he gets into the key, he knows how to get his shot off. And right now, Josh Majette has got his hands full.
It is dunkuary, Damon, so he might have an attempt at a dunk at some point.
Sportsbet's got to triple it. If Gary gets one, they got to triple it. Make it 1,500.
So an early 6-point lead for the Phoenix. It's going to be a Phoenix ball here off the baseline. Jack's NBL coming to you from the Silverdome in Launceston on your Wednesday night. Joel Peterson, Jenny Screen, Damon Lowry, John Casey with you. Great to have your company. Some midweek hoops. Kick off round 16. Here's Creek lining up a three ball. That one's well and truly off target. Williams keeps it alive. Goes down to the low block. Creek keeps it alive. He comes up short, fights for it again, and draws the foul.
How's the desperation? playing very desperate basketball are the Phoenix. They may not be able to drop the first one, but their follow-up has been absolutely relentless in this first quarter. 4 offensive rebounds and probably 2 in that one passage of play. What we expect to see of them early on in this game.
I guess it had to be too, Screeny, because they were always going to have to match the physicality of this Tassie team.
Absolutely. Tassie averaged 12 boards a game across the season, and Phoenix, as I mentioned before, averaged the 13. So a job for Tassie as well in terms of the physicality and the possession game. But both these teams, when they have to, they can play gritty defensive basketball.
That's what we've come to know from Scott Roth's Tassie teams over a season and a half. So 7 points now. Here's the South East Melbourne lead. Tassie scoring on the opening possession through the Doyle free throws, and only one trip on their offensive end since. Here is Doyle getting to the mid-range. That's a sweet-looking jump shot.
A much-needed bucket, because I was getting ready to call a timeout on behalf of Scott Roth. Hey, Case, does it feel like the Tassie JackJumpers are coming out with the same level of aggression just because they might be sitting in 4th place? Something just seems a little bit off.
Yeah, it does seem a bit of a funny vibe here at the moment, Damon, but certainly their shoot-around was impressive. They were aggressive, and they know how important this game is. Speaking with Scott Roth pre-game, they get a 2 there through McDaniel. McVeigh and Kenyon about to check into the game. So important stages here for the JackJumpers.
Might need a little bit of a spark plug. Beautiful find here from Krislovic.
Way to thread the needle. Just beautiful execution. Overplayed from Phoenix. We know they're going to be up and in. We've seen they're playing full court as well. And great smarts of just how to beat the up and in is a backdoor cut.
Dane Pinot out there now for the Phoenix. As Case said, Jack McVeigh checks into the game. Bring a little bit of energy in the proceedings for the JackJumpers. Halfway gone in this opening term. Back to a 3-point game. Brown puts the move on the Jet. Gets it to Creek, who collects it somehow, flings it at the backboard and gets it to go.
Great finish by Creaky. Good pass by Miyamano, Gary Brown. One thing about Mitch Creek, there's a lot of good players in this league, a lot of great players in this league, but there's only a handful of pit bulls. And Mitch Creek is a pit bull, and he is not going to leave anything to chance to get this win tonight. So good to see him coming out early, and I'm expecting him to play 38+, Jen.
100%. He'll be up there. He'll definitely be making his season average, which is a touch over 23.5 points tonight. But he needs the pit bulls, Damo, to go with him, and hopefully it'll be the likes of Brown and obviously Trey Kell. He was pretty quiet the other night against Brisbane in their loss, but free throws matter. They didn't shoot that great the other night from the foul line either.
Both teams are combined 3 of 7 early doors here from the stripe. Cal missed the 3 and then went all the way back in, and now we might get that timeout from Scott Roth.
And I'm pretty sure it's going to have something to do with boxing out on the defensive end. 6-0 boards in the opening 5 minutes, going the way of the South East Melbourne Phoenix.
So a great start for South East Melbourne, up by 7. A promising start for Ryan Brockhoff too, who's struggled to find his shooting stroke. He spoke pre-game to John Casey about trying to find his touch again.
And your own form? I mean, you're not shooting the ball recently as well as you'd like. Have you done anything differently, or how are you coping with that?
Yeah, it's obviously frustrating as a shooter not to be shooting the ball as well as you'd hope to, and I've been getting some good looks, and they felt good out of the hands, and have just sort of rattled in and out. So just staying confident with it. Know that it will come. Team has confidence in me to shoot the ball in those situations. So yeah, just I think that's just been part of the team over the last few weeks. Things have been just that little bit off for whatever reason. Shooting the ball, we haven't been shooting or scoring the ball as well as we usually have. So hopefully that turns around tonight.
6 points early on 2 of 3 shooting from Ryan Brockhoff, and he would have been thrilled to see the first couple go down, Damon.
Absolutely. When you're a shooter and you're in some form of a slump, it gets in your head a little bit. But one thing about Rowdy is he plays the basketball a complete game. It's not all about just shooting with him. He'll inject himself on the defensive glass, the offensive glass. He'll focus on the little things on the court. So then when he gets his shots, once they go down, it seems like the pressure isn't as big.
So 7-point South East Melbourne lead out of the timeout. Let's check in courtside with John Casey.
Joel, listening in with Scott Rothman, coach of the JackJumpers, he told his players that at the moment the Phoenix are just outworking them. He says they win games because of superior effort. We need to match their effort. And certainly going to be interesting tonight to watch the offensive rebound count, because these teams are 1 and 2 in offensive rebounding. Going to be intriguing to see who can get on top there.
Thanks, Case. It's going to be a battle down low all night. There's Creek making his presence felt inside and drawing a foul.
We know they can get to the foul line well. Their ability to penetrate and draw fouls is pretty phenomenal this season in NBL23. As we have a look here, one-on-one. Creaky just having his way. Not much in it, to be honest, of what would probably finals basketball, but the referee saw better of it the other night. 25 of 36 from the foul line against Brisbane. 69%, which is what they're averaging for the season. 6th in the league, 72%. It's an area of concern, considering a lot of their games are coming down to the wire.
Every point counts, and Jared Bairstow, he is no slouch on defense, but that's just the aggression of Mitch Creek. When you can kick the ball up early in transition and Mitch can just decide, okay, that's it, everybody, I'm just going to bag him down from here and put all the pressure in the world on the referees to make calls, he can just do this whenever he feels like it. So I'm expecting a 30-piece game from Mitch today.
Your chance to win the trip of a lifetime to the US for you and a mate to meet Shaquille O'Neal. Flights, accommodation and spending money included. You can enter now via the QR code on screen or head to shaq.nbl.com.au.
Now, Joe, that is the Shaq Super Bowl party. Which so far, the Dallas Cowboys still feature in that equation.
Yeah, my Vikings are gone, Damon. Cowboys are up and about. Who have they got next?
San Francisco, and I'm jinxing them as we speak.
They've had some fierce games over the years, those two teams. It's a 9-point Southeast Melbourne lead. These two teams have met twice so far this season. They've split their encounters. The Phoenix getting the win in round 1, 84-79. Last time, Tassie doing a number on Southeast Melbourne, 99-74. Scott McDonald checks into the game. Sean McDonald, I shouldn't say, and he's called for travel.
And this hurts when you're not capitalising on the possession game in terms of offensive rebounding, giving up 6 already. The JackJumpers, 4 turnovers even doesn't help the situation at all that you're giving up those shot opportunities.
Creek goes straight back to work. Mitch Creek's got 9 on the evening. And the Phoenix have got an 11-point lead.
Big game coming from the pit bull in Creek. Normally the JackJumpers, Jen, force you into a lot of turnovers with full court pressure and just speed you up a little bit. Right now, the Phoenix have 0 turnovers. It's like Tassie's not playing any D right now. The Phoenix do not feel their presence as Jack comes on and knocks one down.
Well, they've had 8 more scoring opportunities than the JackJumpers at the moment. That pretty much tells the story there. Half court, they're pretty good. They've just been caught up a few times, but it's their defensive transition that needs to be tidied up.
Creek can't get that one to go. Mr. McVeigh can the triple at the other end. Coming off a career best 28 points, Jack McVeigh. Doesn't need an invitation to put the ball on the floor and get all the way in, as he does there. Comes up short. Here's Kell. He's going to line one up from straight away and bury it. Back out to 11.
There you go, Jen. We were saying Mitch Creek needs somebody to ride shotgun with him, and nobody better than Trey Kells.
Now move inside from Kenyon. He can't get it to go. Dort able to clean things up. 4 of 10 from the field, the Jackies so far. Phoenix not going great guns, 7 of 18, but getting a lot more looks at it. Adnam gets all the way in. He can't play it home. So a scrappy start for the JackJumpers with the 4 early turnovers, as Jenny and Damon have talked about. Now foul off the ball to go against the Phoenix.
Kyle Adnam slipped out of the rotation a little bit against Brisbane. So I see that he's come in first quarter this time to see, because they need Kyle scoring as well. When Kyle's aggressive and getting to the key, he can make a lot of things happen out of pick and rolls and out of those dribble handoffs. So Kyle is a key component. They're going to need him.
Had season high 30 in the first game between these two sides this year, Kyle Adnam. Remains his season best by a long way. Here's McVeigh trying his luck with another triple. Doyle was soaring in for the rebound. Cal got there first. Done a good job silencing the home crowd so far, and Williams tries to continue that trend.
Great deep seal by the Big Sauce. Patient, didn't do anything silly. Sometimes he might wave his arm. Sometimes he might get himself some offensive fouls through just being too aggressive, but that was a good pass by Trey Kells. And getting Sauce involved. And Simon is doing a good job because he took Sauce out a little bit early in that first quarter because he worried about his fitness a little bit, as well as not getting in foul trouble. So bring him back on to finish the quarter with no fouls.
So now up to a game high 10 or 12-point lead. Williams with a chance to make it 13, which he does. And it's starting to get worrying for Scott Roth and his JackJumpers. It's a man who's got full confidence in his lineup, which is back at full strength for really the first time all season. Coming off a little bit of an extended break, McVeigh goes straight back to work and adds 2 more.
Jack's going to always be aggressive. He likes that matchup with Grant Antisevich, and Grant's going to have to play a lot more physical, tougher D than that because Jack is looking to score.
Williams, Antisevich, Adnam, Cal and Madud out there for the Phoenix. Weeks, Steindl, Magnay, McDonald, McVeigh for the JackJumpers as Cal takes a lick on the play.
And this makes it hard for the JackJumpers. You're in the bonus, you're down by 11 points, and you're wanting to ramp up the physicality, and the referees are just going to keep calling it. And every foul against you sends the Phoenix to the foul line for another opportunity to extend this lead. Just makes all the things, apart from the deficit, that much harder to try and pull back.
That's one of those fouls, too, when you get hit in the eye. You don't really know who really did it. The referees see you grab your eyes and just call a foul and pick a guy out. Not saying it didn't happen, though.
So, of course, round 16 is Heritage Round. You can celebrate your team's history and head to nblstore.com.au to grab your Heritage Round jersey now. And there are some terrific-looking strips among that. Have you got a pick at them, Damon?
So far, I'm going to go with the JackJumpers because I remember those uniforms. I remember those early 90s, and I just like that multicolor thing, even though I don't know what those colors are due to my color blindness. But they look good.
Jen?
I'm a fan of the Wildcats. Having the history of the players embedded in the singlet, I think pays homage to the heritage and the history and the legends of that club.
I reckon for simplicity, I like the Kings. That's just all that it needs to be. It's the purple, it's the old Kings colours. It is a thing of beauty, but there's some great examples of that we'll see throughout this round 16. nblstore.com.au to grab your team's Heritage Round. Plenty of Tassie fans haven't wasted any time because there's quite a few of them doing the rounds in the arena this evening. Under a minute remaining now in this opening period. Phoenix by 12. Brown gets inside. They fight for it again. There's been plenty of tenacity from this Phoenix side in this opening term. What they were lacking on Monday, they've provided in spades early here. Jackies would love a basket on this possession. And McVeigh makes it happen.
Really great composure there from McVeigh. He had the biggest size, Alan Williams, big source down low, but just had great footwork and poise to finish with a nice little hook.
A bit of full court pressure here from Steindl on Cal. And the Phoenix will try and take the air out of the rock and wind the clock down. Williams with the turnaround. That's a little bit too strong. 8 seconds to work with for the JackJumpers to go to quarter time. Down by 10. McDonald weaves his way up and cross comes Antisevich. No call on the play. Locals don't like that. And we go to quarter time with Southeast Melbourne leading 24-14 over the Tasmania JackJumpers. And of course, the JackJumpers and the NBL tonight paying their tributes to Mark Leader, NBL legend, NBL champion, who we sadly lost in recent days. Our thoughts with his friends and family. So a really bright start for the visitors in Launceston. Southeast Melbourne with a 10-point quarter-time lead over the JackJumpers. They brought plenty of energy, some hot shooting to start after a disappointing loss on Monday. Mitch Creek and the Phoenix have certainly got it going in the opening period here. Jenny Screen and Damon Lowry, it's been a much better start.
It has indeed. They've really silenced the crowd, haven't they, from Tasmania, the way that Mitchell's men have come out in this one. And that's thanks a lot to their possession game. 6-0 boards and forcing 5 turnovers to the JackJumpers. And then on the flip side, the JackJumpers shooting 6 of 15 from the field. Some area that they have to clean up. But it's just the epic game, Damo, they're getting beaten in at the moment.
Yeah, the Phoenix are out JackJumpering the JackJumpers. They got more offensive rebounds, 0 turnovers, which is amazing for a quarter of basketball, and seem to be getting anything they want on offensively.
Getting some good looks. The turnovers all the more impressive when you consider that the JackJumpers are the best team in the league at forcing opposition turnovers. At 17% of their opposition possessions end in a turnover. The Phoenix through a quarter haven't had one. McVeigh's been the shining light for the Jackies so far. He's got 9. No other Tassie player has more than 3.
He has been a bit of punch off the bench from Scott Roth. A nice little impact player has he been, the X factor for the JackJumpers right now, but it's all on the defensive end for the boys in this quarter.
Another offensive board for the Phoenix. Williams pulls it down. They fight for another one. This time Magnay's able to collect it.
Scott Roth played 12 guys in that first quarter, trying to find 5 guys that can bring energy all at the same time. And no doubt Hitter gave them one hell of a rocket. So the second quarter, they come out with a little bit more aggression. And we only know it's only a matter of time before the JackJumpers make a run.
+6 on the offensive glass now, the Phoenix. Led by as many as 13 in that opening frame. Here's Creek on the block. Just backs his way straight into McVeigh and over the top of him.
Old teammates, old mates off the court as well. Come on, Jack, you got to stand up in that situation because you know Mitch is letting them know.
2 guys that aren't short of a word, it's fair to say. Jack McVeigh doesn't mind a bit of a chat. Mitch Creek's in that bucket as well.
He might have had a bit of a case.
Looking from that, there was 2 pretty significant bumps there, and McVeigh not really known for being much of a flopper, but he's wreaking havoc down on the offensive end, isn't he just? Here we go, and he's loving the talk back to Mitchie, saying, this is my house.
Well, let's go then.
Both got 9 points and going at it. McVeigh and Creek early doors. He's such a good personality, is Jack McVeigh.
A guy that's committed to scoring, a guy that's just patient like Jack. He's tough to guard because you think your average guy, Jim, might maybe kick the ball out if things look a little bit shaky. But Jack backs himself in those little quirky situations.
Just keeps improving his game. Played limited role in Adelaide in his time there, and a bit more time on the floor at Tassie, and just continues to excel, coming off a career best 28 last time out. He's got 11 early stages here of his team's 18 points. Trailed by 8 as Brown gets inside and scoops it home with the left hand.
Exquisite point guard play. One of the better guards in the league out of a pick and roll. Always a danger to get a nice assist. Showed he can also finish with the opposite hand.
McDonald was sort of a half lob, half shot, ended up being neither. Tarangi's back the other way. Here's Brown again, flipping it up, trying to go the circus shot. Through the hands of Ruben Tarangi. And now Weeks to Majette, wide open. Clanks that off the back of the iron. Jackies 1 of 3 from downtown. Phoenix 3 of 9
yes.
Early stages. Nice find from Brown, and Williams is fouled.
It's just a privilege to have a player of this caliber in our league. You just sit here and you watch, not what he sees, but he sees a lot, doesn't he, Damo? The way he can just navigate off pick and roll action. Probably even had the ability to score himself, but the really thread the needle is just world-class.
We got some guards in this league, Will McDowell White, Derek Walton Jr., and Gary Brown. These guys in the pick and roll, your pick and roll defense has to be spot on because these guys will punish you with either scoring or finding the open man. It's just great to watch.
Shame is we just haven't seen that much of Brown. He's only played the 15 games this season through injury.
And that makes it hard for the Jack Jumpers because the first two outings, and we know head-to-head they're 1-1. He didn't play in either of those contests, so sometimes you need a little bit of time to warm up to someone to see how they play when you haven't played them. It makes that all a bit harder, and when you're coming down the crunch time of the season, you don't have time to muck around. You've got to know straight up.
Brown and Brockhoff both didn't play in either of the earlier matchups between these two teams. This will stay Jackie's ball. Only 3 players have played every game for the Phoenix so far this season. All 24, Junior Madut, Ruben Tarangi and Mitch Creek. Alan Williams has missed 1. Kyle Adnam has missed a couple along with Dane Pinot. 12-point South East Melbourne lead. Doyle outside to Majet. Almost lost the handle there. Now Kelly from long range. Oh, calls window.
Wow.
The bank's open for Rashard Kelly.
I was just about to say, Josh Majet's line up until that bank 3 was, nothing but zeros. And Josh is the lead ant. He's got to get himself involved. And you see here, a fumbled pass. One dribble step back by Rashard Kelly, kisses it off the glass. Sometimes you just need to be lucky.
Talk about sending it back to heritage. Rupert Sackwell was the man being able to nail the bank 3 as we see a forced foul called against the Phoenix. And here the Jack Jumper crowd getting up and about now. A little bit of momentum swing, perhaps.
The only thing with Rupert is he did it on purpose.
So now the Jackies have just got a little bit of a spark. Maybe their crowd has too. Here at the Silverdome in Launceston. As John Casey noted earlier, the second and final game here in Northwest Tassie for the season for the hosts. Doyle doing his work on the low block. He's fouled.
If you let Tassie hang around, their style of play is so consistent.
Yep.
Anytime they go through a stretch of bad basketball, you just know Scott's going to turn it around. These guys are going to turn it around. So now that double-digit lead the Phoenix had, all of a sudden you look at this lead and think 9, Jackies are coming.
They're just like they're a big diesel engine, Damon. They just keep churning away, and they're not the fastest out of the blocks, but they just keep motoring.
And when you talk about letting them hang around, Phoenix isn't the team that finishes well when it comes to ends of games. And Jack Jumpers, we know, and we saw it last year in NBL23, that they can finish out games very well. So I'm a little concerned if they continue to let them hang around, especially heading towards half-time. But we wouldn't expect anything less from the Jack Jumpers led by Scott Roth.
Interesting lineup here for Simon Mitchell, as he is going to make a couple of changes. So there was no Cal, no Williams, no Brown on the floor. Cal checks back in. Cal, Adnam, Tarangi, Pinot and Creek out there for the Phoenix. Jet, Kelly, Magnay, Doyle and Weeks for the Jack Jumpers, who force the turnover. And here comes Milton Doyle. He's blocked by Cal. Great bit of defensive work.
Great wall up by Trey Kells. That's how you straight up principle of verticality, no foul as Mitch comes down and lets one fly. But the Jack Jumpers have increased the tempo on defense and forced their first turnover. Now look what's happening.
They love to make offense out of defense to the Jack Jumpers. And they're doing it right here and force the time out for the Phoenix.
Milton Doyle leading the break. Rashard Kelly throwing it down. Scott Roth would love every bit of that. And they've narrowed the gap back to 5 here of the Jack Jumpers at 25-30. As you said, Damon, they just don't go away.
You ever get ants in your house? You see one ant and you think, oh, I'll squash this ant. Then 20 minutes later, he's back for like 50,000 of his mates because they leave a trail, Jen.
They're real game crashers, ants. They're real game crashers. For every dunk during the month of January, Sportsbet will donate $500 to Australian prostate cancer. So another check in the bank, courtesy of Rashard Kelly. So we're already up to $51,500 with 103 dunks so far. For more information or to make a donation, visit australianprostatecancer.org.au. A terrific cause, a terrific initiative. And it's providing some terrific highlights throughout the month in January.
Posters for the month of January, if you will, from some of the players and athleticism in our league.
Marcus Lee had his own top 10 on the NBL's Instagram page.
How good a pick-up has he been from Melbourne United? Talk about a team that's coming and coming fast. Use that Melbourne United uniform, and if they make the 6, mark my word, I wouldn't want to match up against them in that play-in series.
There's a lot that are coming for those top 6 spots. The Southeast Melbourne still trying to force their way through that fight as well. 5-point lead to the Phoenix over the JackJumpers. Let's check in courtside with Case.
Just listening in with Simon Mitchell in the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. So that was just about settling his team down, just trying to snap the momentum that Tassie have generated on this 7-0 run. Interestingly, the Phoenix are close to the worst second quarter team in the competition. They've won only one of their last 8 second quarters and only 7 second quarters for the whole season, and no other team has won less than that.
Thanks, Case. Of course, in their 5-game winning streak at the moment, Doyle takes it inside. So they're on a 5-game losing streak, this Phoenix. And they've led at quarter time in 4 of those games. So tonight, not a particularly good omen as Creek goes back to work and he's pumped.
Great timeout by Simon, like he just said. Settle the boys down a little bit. They come down, get a stop, come down in transition. They don't blaze away. Ruben Tarangi penetrates. Creek keeps going to the rack, gets an and 1.
Creek's got 11 to match Jack McVeigh as the leading scorer in the game so far. McVeigh's back in, 4 of 10 for Creek. 5 rebounds, as you can see, so he's been active as usual. 23.5 points a game, nearly 7 rebounds, close to 3 assists, a steal, shooting 35% from downtown. Close to 80% at the stripe. Put together just about the complete season.
Complete indeed. I think it's one of his best, if not the best in his career in the NBL.
Do you think that the losing streak in the last little while has hurt his MVP case?
Yes, I do. I really do, unfortunately. If you talk to Corey Williams, he will say that you've got to be in the top 4 to even be considered. But you never know. There's still a couple more games. They've got 5 to go, and this could be the spark that they need as long as they come away with the win. But the Tassie JackJumpers, well, they've got to find the bottom of the net.
Got the margin back out to 10 in the blink of an eye here, the Phoenix. Creek goes down the other way. Kelly knocks it off the rim. Pinot puts it back up and in.
And that's what Pinot will give you. He plays 11 minutes a game. He's not your big scorer, but he averages a touch under 2 offensive boards a game. And that's the type of player you'll want just for a couple of minutes every single game.
Spot on. He knows exactly who he is. Janice just gets another rebound. He just runs full court sprints, throwing his body at the glass, and he's a perfect guy to bring in while you're resting Big Sauce on the bench.
Rebounds 24-14 so far in this game. 12-point lead to the Phoenix. Cowell the step back. That's a mile off. He shot that at a rim in Hobart. Unfortunately, Trey Cowell. Now the JackJumpers with a chance to answer back. Under 4 minutes remaining in this second period. Got the lead down to 5. Trailed for most of the game so far. Doyle likes the look of a 3.
The timely Milton Doyle. Just when things get a little bit shaky, you can count on Milton Doyle to just settle things down.
And now the turnover for the Jackies. Kelly takes it all the way and throws it down for another 500.
And the Phoenix go from 0 turnovers in that first quarter where they're exceptional to now having 3, allowing a few offensive rebounds. Also the JackJumpers as well. Just keeps the JackJumpers within touching distance.
Beautiful move, Kyle Adnam. Little hesitation dribble. Rolled it in off the glass. Adnam's first points of the evening. So prolific through the NBL blitz in the early part of the season with his scoring. Struggled to find his shot so far this year. Creek taps it off the rim. It'll stay a JackJumpers ball. Here's Rashard Kelly in the open floor.
And that's one thing that the JackJumpers do well. They're second in the league in terms of steals. They like to get up and in. They like to gamble. And that's what stimulates their offense. And they're starting to show that a little bit here in this second quarter.
Phoenix led by as many as 13 in the opening frame. Led by 10 at quarter time. 109 at the moment. Junior Medud applying some rather concerted pressure to Milton Doyle.
Normally, throughout the season, I wouldn't say that the Phoenix played man-to-man D up the floor with this much aggression, but this is a case in point. We just have to do what needs to be done. So right now, they're picking up full court because their season is on the line.
It's been the response they would have wanted to see out of Monday night's loss to Brisbane, that's for sure. Still a lot of basketball to be played as Kelly gets Dane Pinot in the air.
And that's just too much weight behind the ball. The bigger, stronger Kelly going up the slider, longer frame, and Dane Pinot just bully ball here, just too quick off the dribble, uses his shoulder to create a little bit more space and gets himself to the foul line. Having a pretty good season too. Touch over 12 points per game. Not the greatest foul shooter, but cleans up the glass, creates a few assists. He's been a great pickup for Tasmania.
Another
really
player
enjoying his role.
Does a bit of everything, doesn't he? Just stuffs the stat sheet. So, not playing at their usual home venue, but it's not away enough to be burgers, but he did miss both there, did Kelly. Shooting at 70% on the season.
And normally Rashard Kelly gets himself involved on the offensive glass, and he's averaging 2, but uncharacteristically he has none right now. So the Phoenix know what his strengths are, and they're just not going to let him waltz in there and grab offensive rebounds. So when people tweak the scouting report just for you, you got to find other ways.
-7 on the offensive glass so far. Phoenix with 9-0 boards to the JackJumpers 2. Medud inside. Smith-Milner tries to find Junior Medud again. Doyle got a hand in there. So a 2.5 remaining on the shot clock here for the Phoenix. We need something and need it quick. Gary Brown to inbounds. Creek for 3. No one went for that ball in the end, and it'll stay with the Phoenix.
Great hustle by Gary Brown. Everybody else relaxing. The littlest dude on the floor keeps it alive.
Again, that energy for Southeast Melbourne comes to the fore.
Well, I think Doyle thought that McVeigh had it. McVeigh thought Doyle had it. They're just being too nice and not coming up with possession there. One that got away, but if you have a look here, or it was Kelly rather. Sorry, not McVeigh, but they're just both going at it, both pulled out at the end. And no one really had possession, so I think it was the right call there by the referees. But I'm the JackJumpers right now in this last 2 and a bit minutes. I'm getting to the foul line. I'm penetrating. I'm trying to force the referees to blow that 5th team foul against Southeast and try and creep this little deficit back with a few cheap ones from the foul line.
So 2:20 remaining in the opening half. Brockhoff gets it inside. Brown with another offensive rebound for the Phoenix. Can't stick it back.
That was great penetration too. You caught it, Jen. Rowdy attacked the basket. He just couldn't finish.
McVeigh now. Doyle guarded by Medud. McVeigh. Foul on that play.
And Tassie seemed to be a little bit stagnant on the offensive end. They just, normally there's a lot of ball movement, there's a lot of body movement, but right now it seems to be some kind of heavy ISO basketball. Maybe one pick and roll, then dump it inside, and everybody kind of stands around a little bit. That's not trademark JackJumper basketball.
Potentially, you know, the injection and return of players like we saw with the Phoenix throughout this season just creates ebbs and flows. You don't have that continuity and consistency of your basketball. We know they've had some players like Magnay, McDaniel, Kenyon out for different periods of the season. Steindel's another one. So sometimes it takes a little bit to gel.
This season, with thanks to Latrobe Financial, we're giving away a guaranteed $50,000. You can enter now at nbl.com.au/legends for your chance to win. Scott Roth saying during the week that they've had their full complement only really around for the last week, and it was the first training that they'd done all season as a full team this week with the 6-day break. So that's pretty valuable. Here's Smith-Milner from downtown getting involved.
I see you, but he better have made that shot because Mitch Creek had Jared Weeks on him, and he wanted the ball. So That's one of those good shots only if it goes in.
Couldn't agree more either there. Good recognition, though, that Pop is probably known more for his rolling given his size, but Jack McVeigh got caught, and as you would against Brown, he knows how to attract attention. Great job there from the Phoenix to find the bottom of the net, and someone that knows how to get downhill. Mitch Creek, getting it done for the Phoenix in that one.
So 13 points now, the lead for the Phoenix, 14 for Creek. 12 for McVeigh on the other side of things. It's been an energetic Phoenix team in this opening half as Weeks gets to the line.
What disappoints Scott Roth the most is, like he said earlier, like, we're being outworked. Like, since when does a Jack Jumper team get outworked? They'll lose, but not because of lack of effort. And right now, and this is what I was thinking about before the game, who has more to play for? The Jack Jumpers probably somewhat comfortable in that playoff mix, whereas Phoenix are playing for their basketball life. And like we've seen, Jim, with the United, a desperate team. They come out with more to play for. They seem to be the team that gets it done.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the frustrating thing, though, if you're a Phoenix fan. It shouldn't take desperation or your season on the line to be consistent basketballers. They've got the team that should be able to win the championship. The Jack Jumpers are similar for mine. They're just a grind team. But right now, when you talk about effort, 11-0 boards to Phoenix. And those extra 11 shots does hurt big time.
7 of 13 at the line as well, the Jackies. Medulla on the take, gets inside. Smith-Milner keeps it alive, flings it backward over his head. Doyle picks it off the rack and then loses it away. So another turnover. That's 8 in the opening half for the Jack Jumpers. And South East Melbourne get another look to push this out to a game-high 14 or 15-point margin. Gary Brown shows them the handle, flings it out to Creek, puts it on the floor, takes it inside, and draws a call.
This would happen sometimes when you're on defense. You got a guard like Gary Brown who goes into his pit, pat, pat, pat. The whole defense just stops and looks. Because what's he doing? And then all of a sudden you overhelp, and now you kick it out to Creek. Rashard Kelly has it now close out long, and Creaky attacks the rack and eyes at the foul line.
I couldn't agree with you more. Brown has really been the difference for me in terms of what he's been able to create. He's only got the 5 points, 2 of 6. But it's the other things he's doing. He's creating the distraction. He's being the, you know, I guess the missile, if you will, but not the target. The target is the other players that are getting open and feeding off him. And the recipients of that have been Mitch Creek for one and Brokaw for another when he's had the opportunities to score.
So an equal game-high 13-point lead now for the Phoenix. Creek trying to make it a new game high at 14 and does. It's as big as it's been and as big a worry as it's been for the Jack Jumpers fans in Launceston. They'll go to half-time with some real thinking to do here, the hosts. In the thick of the top 4 fight. Maybe some grander ambitions than that. And this Phoenix team that's been desperate has come with plenty of energy and has beaten their own game in this opening half. Smith-Milner's hit 1-3 already. Creek to beat the buzzer. He can't add the exclamation mark to the opening half, but it has been a statement nonetheless from South East Melbourne, who led by 10 at quarter time and go to the half up by 14, 46-32. Jenny Screen and Damon Lowry, they brought every bit of the response their fans would have hoped for.
Absolutely. This is how you play desperate basketball. This is when your season's on the line, and this is what would drive Simon Mitchell nuts. How come we didn't do this the other night? Why does it take us to be on basketball life support in order for us to come out and play like this? But I knew one guy, like I said, the pit bull of that team is Mitch Creek. It doesn't matter about how many games you play in a week. Doesn't matter about your travel plans and all the airport delays. He is going to show up night in and night out.
Well, he's doing that, and he's with John Casey right now courtside.
I've got Mitch here. You like the pocket square?
You look good, mate. You look real good.
You're looking better at the moment. What pleased you most about that first half?
Defensively, 32.5's pretty damn good. First quarter defense, they're on 10 for 3 quarters of that. You have a few leaky ones in transition, a couple of bad turnovers, Milton Doyle's length, but, I mean, I can be happy with the defense right now.
And a good bounce back from obviously a disappointing loss against Brisbane.
Yeah, it's a loss. It doesn't matter who it is. They're extremely talented, quality side. They're not going to stay down forever. We know that. Everyone knows that. And if you think they are, you're an idiot. So we weren't ready. They beat us, but we come in today. It's a new game. We have a new mindset on this game, and that's it.
JackJumpers close within 5 in that second. They fought back. What are you going to have to guard against in the second half?
I mean, Jack's talking a lot out there, so we have to try and contain him. He's getting over that right shoulder. We know he likes that. Scout breakdowns, but at the same time, go back at him. He wants to talk shit to us. We'll go at him and make him pay for it. But he's out there as a liability on defense. We've got to go at him.
Appreciate your time. Mitch Creek there, laying it all on the line. Great to have that sort of input from the players here during the halftime break. It is Heritage Round, and we'll have an opportunity to check out some of the former greats of the league. And we're going to start with a human highlight reel. Calvin Talford, who spent some time here in Tassie.
The NBL was definitely one of my highlights of my pro career. You know, the height was real high for me. I felt like that I had to come out and really show the NBL that, you know, hey, this guy, you know, he's going to be a real, you know, superstar in the league, and he's going to bring highlights. I mean, it's real exciting, you know, for me to hear you say that, you know, people still remember those days, you know, because I mean, that's been 25 years ago. So yeah, that's a real good feeling. I was a leaper shoot probably when I was, you know, 10, 11, 12 years old. I started dunking the basketball, and once I got that little height, it was a done deal. Then I was, you know, going around hitting my head on the rim. So it was, it was definitely a great feeling after that. I loved Australia. We stayed almost 10 months, and I don't think I got homesick one time, you know, being in Tasmania. I mean, the fans were just great. I mean, that's why I'm really glad that they're getting another team there, because they really do embrace their players and their organization there. So Hobart Devils really put they really put a, you know, an emphasis on my life. And I mean, you know, I don't think, you know, I probably wouldn't have ended up, you know, being the person and then you know, my career the way it went, you know, without being at Hobart. Hobart really taught me a lot. You know, they humbled me and made me grow as a player. So I really appreciate them, and you know, and just glad I got that opportunity.
So half-time in Launceston. It is Heritage Round after all. Damon Lowry's with us tonight as the South East Melbourne Phoenix take on the Tasmania JackJumpers. And here is some of Damon's finest work for the Illawarra Hawks throughout the years. Oh, put that on the wall,
Look at
kids.
the guns on that one, if you don't mind.
That is Damon Lowry putting on a poster in Heritage Round. So round 16, it is Heritage Round of the competition. Damon Lowry and two-time Olympian Jenny Screen alongside me, Joel Peterson. Jen, you didn't get off lightly. I know you're sitting there watching that of Damon, but you didn't get off quite that lightly. We do have some of your finest work from the WNBL to show as well. It's all part of the fun here on Heritage Round. You're going to see plenty of this throughout the course of the weekend.
Check
There she
it
is.
out. Thank you very much. And if you don't mind, look, red hair to brunette. And then a vintage. Oh, look at that.
Give it up, Jen.
Look at my guns, if you don't mind, Damo. There. And there we go. The opals.
In action for the opals. London
Vintage.
2012.
That J is going in for sure.
That is a long time ago. I could pull a facial.
That is all splash from Jenny's Screen. We'd like to think they're our Hungry Jacks highlights, but we should take a look at those as well because we've had plenty to like about this game so far in Launceston. It is a 14-point South East Melbourne lead, and we've talked about their energy, we've talked about their intensity. It's been really what the doctor ordered as far as South East Melbourne are concerned, Dave.
They've started out perfectly. They came out of the hotel at the shoot-around, they hit the court, and they came out with intent. They got on the glass, they dominated the rebounds, and they refused to turn the ball over. So they were standing JackJumpers' pressure. And I've seen JackJumpers apply more pressure, but right now, Phoenix are not feeling that pressure at all. They're getting whatever they want, all led by the potty-mouth pit bull, Mitch Creek.
He was potty at halftime, wasn't he? Not fired up a little bit by McVeigh, and he's been a shining light for the JackJumpers with the 12 points. But I love the intent from Phoenix, forcing also JackJumpers into the 7 turnovers.
Let's take a look at the halftime stats. Neither side's shot it especially well so far, but 7 turnovers in that opening half for the JackJumpers and a big edge in the rebounding for South East Melbourne.
And that's led to 10 points for the Phoenix. It may not be a shootout like we've seen from some of these games in the previous rounds, but it is a gritty game, and the effort right now at halftime is being won by the Phoenix. The thing for me, though, is that JackJumpers aren't done, are they? We know what Scott Broth is like.
They definitely got another run in them for sure. And normally shooting percentages come down as the playoff intensity as it gets closer to that time of year. But Jack McVeigh, like we said earlier, he's the emotional barometer for this team. Everybody else is kind of in cruise mode, it seems like. But Jack is not going to die wondering, so they just have to follow his lead.
And I think Milton Doyle, he's been a bit quiet. I think Trey Kell's done a sensational job on him in the first half at times. But if we just get a few more people to follow and gel a little bit more, we're going to see a game in the second half. But McVeigh has definitely been the punch that has mattered and kept them within a little bit of, I guess, range, if you will, but a lot has to change in the third quarter for the JackJumpers.
It's been fun. The Creek-McVeigh matchup has been many things. It's certainly been fun, and Mitch Creek's halftime interview was certainly a big part of that. So 14-point South East Melbourne Phoenix lead this season. With thanks to Latrobe Financial, we're giving away a guaranteed $50,000. Let's take a look at some of the great entries rolling in throughout the course of the season. Of course, hit a half-court shot, take a video. You can enter now at nbl.com.au/legends. half-time in Launceston as we kick off Heritage Round in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Plenty of old Devils jerseys getting around at half-time supporting the JackJumpers. Mark Nash there doing some radio work tonight, calling the game. That'd be an original Devils jumper as well. That's not a throwback Heritage strip. That is the OG for Mark Nash, the 300 gamer.
I remember Nashy, a very sneaky athlete too.
He was long, great shooter, played for the Adelaide 36ers in my tenure when I was in the WNBL with the Lightning. Great human too.
So 14-point lead for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, 46-32. Mitch Creek with 16 first half points. He had some nice words to say to John Casey at halftime, some of them not so nice, but what he said about your pocket square was, Case, as we come down to you.
Yeah, he was pretty impressed with that. Here's Josh Magette. Gee, they need to get him going offensively on cue. But just prior to the players coming back onto the floor, Simon Mitchell made a point of telling his players, he said, look, they're coming out here with their biggest shot. They'll be disappointed with their first half. They know they're down, so be ready. We have to absorb what they're bringing here early in the third.
Spot on. You know it's coming. These first 5 minutes, this third quarter, the JackJumpers, they're going to come out here. They playing for the island, as Scott says. They're defending the island. They can't upset the Launceston locals. So, yeah, if they can weather this early storm, which we know is coming, the Phoenix, they could be okay.
First points of the night for Josh Magette. Averaging 10.5 a game. Here's Williams in the key. That floater is money.
And the money was Williams, but the person that made that happen was Ryan Brokoff. He just attracted the attention of Magnay and Matt Kenyon on that curl cut, and that allowed Alan Williams that nice little open floater from the foul line.
Doyle gets to the baseline, slings it back out. Magette might try his luck again as he gets to the free throw line. Gary Brown's been impressive in the opening half.
Mouse in the house.
Williams upstairs, floats it home, and will go to the line to and one.
Sometimes you don't have to get cute. You don't have to be a rocket science. You just go right. Josh Magette is a mismatch with Trey Kells. Will Magnay came over and doubled, and Trey was a willing passer. Found Sauce for an easy deuce.
And that's what Big Sauce does well. He just has the ability to read the play, step into the right positions at the right time. And he's got this knack of finishing with a weird floater. It ain't a jumper. It's a running kind of floater thing. I don't know what you'd even call it, but he's money from around that 12 to 15 foot range.
Just for the record, I never liked when Lenar Copeland would always say mouse in the house anytime I was guarding him. Still don't like that.
But you're happy to use it yourself.
But I'll use it to other people.
Yeah, use it on other people, that's fine. Here's Magnay going baseline. He lays that one in.
I love to see Will Magnay be more of a scorer. I know we all know what he can do on the defensive end, but I know he's got more in the offensive tank, especially on that matchup with Big Sauce. He can really put some under pressure by using his athleticism, trying to get to the rack.
I need to provide a bit of juice here in this second half for the Jackies. Cal just barges his way through Magette. A little bit strong on the runner. Magette back the other way. Into the corner. And that is splashed home by Matt Kenyon.
Slow in transition D to Phoenix. Got a little bit lax just then. Josh made the extra pass to Kenyon, who doesn't normally like to shoot those, but has been more of a shooter this season. Knocks one down.
10th made three-pointer of the season. He's missed time as well, only playing the 12 games before tonight. Williams again gets to that floater. Now you have a root beer float. Could you have a sauce float? Could we call it the sauce float? Doesn't sound very appetizing, but it's effective. Almost the turnover. And then it was, as Cal, he can't connect from the corner.
He hasn't been able to connect all night from deep. 1 of 6 now is Trey Powell. One area that he has been pretty good, though, is the defensive end, creating a bit of havoc, doing the little things.
So back to a 10-point game, 3 minutes into this third period. It was 14 at the half. Here's Kelly on the take to Doyle, mid-range, won't go. He'll able to pull down his own miss. Looks like he drew it up. It came straight back to him. Dumps it inside to Magnay. He's got a mismatch on Cal. And exploits it nicely as he gets to the line.
The best part about that offense was the JackJumpers just missed it when got the ball again, because that offensive set was pretty ordinary, but Will Magnay put the ball on the floor, got himself to the rack. And like I said, he can be way more aggressive offensively.
I don't think we've seen the best of him. He averages just a touch under 6 points per game and 4 rebounds. He's a big body, he's a big unit. We've seen what he's capable of. Obviously, he's had a fair track history with a record, I should say, with injury. And obviously, it's going to take him some time to get back. But if he's getting good, as we're getting to the pointy end of the season, the JackJumpers are just going to be even better and better when it comes to the games that really, really matter.
They're legit 13 deep. And Isaac White, who had a monster game against the Phoenix the last time they played, is yet to hit the court. That's just how much depth Scott is spoiled with.
It's a guy who's shooting 54% on three-pointers on the season. He can't even hit the hardwood. Split at the line for Magnay. Brown's able to get that to go on the other end. So far tonight, every time the JackJumpers have put together a bit of a stretch, Southeast Melbourne have come right back at them.
Mi amigo, that was your chance. He said he could get a dunk if he got a breakaway. But he read that play, he read that reversal pass and got himself a nice steal, an easy deuce.
Finance team at Sportsbet was very nervous then, Damon, seeing as though you said they had to triple it if Gary Brown threw one down. And now another turnover for the JackJumpers. And here's Creek, but it's taken off the rim by Kelly. And he's called for a foul.
This potentially could be a 7-point run for Phoenix. Just when you thought momentum was swinging to the JackJumpers, a couple of turnovers, narrow passes, and some buckets down the other end in transition for the Phoenix. See the lead being pushed out just again.
Could have been anything on the fast break there. Mitch Creek is going to get a moment to have a breather as he gets a timeout. Step to the line and shoot 2 on the other side of it. 54-41, the Southeast Melbourne lead. Back to 13 points. It was at 14, they cut it down to 9. And now Southeast Melbourne starting to build some of that advantage again.
This is the kind of timeout that I like, a sub, if you will, for Mitch Creek. This is your rest. The timeouts is your rest. And that was the most probably tired you're going to see Mitch with both hands on his hips as he's walking to the bench. But he's played 22 minutes, and I'm saying you don't need to get any subs, man. The season right now is on a razor's edge. I need you out there for 38. And any player out there in the league, if you can't play 35 minutes, that's your fault. Get yourself in some shape.
Well, Mitch Creek's shown that he can throughout the course of the season. Hey, it's been a busy week in Tasmania. They've had plenty on, even though they've been on a 6-day rest off their last game. They had a former NBA MVP in town. One Dirk Nowitzki, who was in town. Of course, a championship winner with the Dallas Mavericks. German international over many years, an absolute star of the international game. Popping into JackJumpers training with Scott Roth, who, of course, he knows pretty well. Not only do they know each other now, but when he was drafted to the Dallas Mavericks, Scott Roth was an assistant with the Mavs. Of course, he's a former teammate and part of the Mavs organisation with Ryan Brockhoff as well. We were tossing it around the other day, Damon, and we sort of thought, you know, that we might work this into the game tonight. Just chucking it around a few emails between the commentary team. And Jenny Screen here just goes, oh, yeah, oh, no, nothing special, but I caught up with him too.
I did. I spent all day with Dirk. He's a good human. He's obviously a great basketballer, as we know, one of the greatest. But
what's the link?
Yeah,
Jen?
we need more than that, Jen.
Oh, we're both FIBA Players Commission chairs. He's the chair. I'm the deputy chair, and I'm fortunate enough to work with him in that space in international basketball with FIBA. So it's exciting. He's out here. He reached out, and yeah, we spent the day together, which was really nice, catching up with his lovely wife Jess and his 3 amazing young children who all love tennis.
Well, let me know if you guys need another chair. And don't say hi, chair.
Yeah, you're asking. Don't say hi, chair, David.
Much needed bucket just then by the JackJumpers. They got to keep this thing manageable. And right now, a 13-point deficit with all the momentum that the Phoenix are playing with, it's going to be tough to reel it in. They have to get a lot of stops.
It was 15. It's back to 13. Creek tries to make it 16. He might yet get another go. Another offensive rebound. Number 15 for the Phoenix. They won't get another chance here. Oh, Jet almost gave it back to them. Now Doyle. They just haven't settled into this game at any stage tonight, Tassie. McVeigh down low. Brockhoff helps from the weak side. Majette gets McDood in the air, draws the foul.
That was good defense by the Phoenix. Nice little jump switch to save Kyle Adlam in the post, but then they just gave up that penetration. That's what Josh Majette does well. He gets into that key. He just knows how to slow himself down, get you on his back, and draws a foul. He does it often.
And he's had a pretty quiet game thus far in this one. Just the 3 points, only the 4 shots, a few assists going his way. He needs to get the motor going, just like the MG, perhaps.
Of course, this season, with thanks to MG, we're giving away a brand new MG ZS EV electric car valued at $44,990. Enter now at nbl.com.au/winmg. You're going to have to come up with something better than that segue from Jenny Screen to take the chocolates. That was like the old school radio announcer type link. Very smooth work from you, Screen. Here's Tarangi. He's got some smooth work from the corner as well.
They just have all the answers right now to Phoenix. That was a great screen, too, by Sauce. He just buried his man while Ruben got a nice little 3-point shot off. So, and look at Sauce in the lanes.
Providing some real hustle. And now Bairstow is able to add 2 to his account for the evening. Checking in for some minutes. So margin at 12. It's been around double digits since really the halfway mark in the opening quarter for the Phoenix, and they really took control. And that's a better defensive possession for the JackJumpers.
Normally, JackJumpers ball screen D is pretty tough. They like to switch a lot. When they do show, they show so aggressively. It's almost like a double team. That was one of the rare occasions that it came off for him and caused Trey Kills to travel.
So 59-47, 4 minutes remaining here in this third period. My team's going to take an opportunity to talk things over. Scott Roth really needs to get his side going in this game, whereas Simon Mitchell's been able to provide a real response after they came out flat on Monday night. Big source, Alan Williams, said they didn't show the fight that they needed to. They certainly have here at midweek hoops to kick off round 16 as they're trying to keep their season alive. Mitch Creek with 18 points. Gary Brown's got 9. Couple in double digits for the JackJumpers in McVeigh and Doyle, but they just haven't had enough to spread that scoring load so far, Tassie.
And this is the respect that we all have for the Tasmania JackJumpers, because even though they're down 12, we feel like it's close.
I know, and if they can just in the next 4 minutes get it under double digits, psychologically you know that trying to come back from a single-digit deficit is a lot easier when the clock is not with you to come back from. And I just feel if they can get it under 10 to the 8-9 point mark with the home crowd behind them, anything can happen in this fourth quarter, because we know that the Phoenix in history tells us that fourth quarters and running out and finish out games aren't a strong point for the Phoenix men.
You just feel like, Tassie, with the way that they play and the discipline that they play with and how well coached they are, they're just not going to get blown out. Like, a team's just not going to start walking away with the game on their floor.
No, it'll be a brawl first before that happens, I think.
So McDaniel, McDonald, McVeigh, Bairstow and Doyle out there to upset the McParty. Cal, Adlam, Tarangi, Pinot and Creek out there. Here's McVeigh. He and Creek have been key protagonists this evening. Doyle collects the loose ball. Offensive rebound number 5 for the Jackies tonight. Phoenix have had 14. McVeigh gets another look at things. A herky-jerky move inside. Bairstow pulls down the offensive rebound. Now McDaniel goes in. He can't finish, but he was fouled.
Now this looks familiar. This is JackJumpers. 2 offensive rebounds back-to-back. Sam McDaniel got one of them, and then he attacks the rack, gets himself to the foul line. Or was that not a foul? What was that call?
2 points counted, I think.
Oh,
was
sorry. Yep.
Narrows the margin to 10. Here's Creek. Started the spin cycle on the block. As you heard at half-time, he likes the matchup with Jack McVeigh. Now Doyle forces the turnover with some good defence. Ruben Tarangi pleads his case with the referees. Vaughan Mabry, Daniel Troy, Alex McEwen, our crew this evening. Joel Peterson, Jenny Screen, Damon Lowry, John Casey with you in commentary. Phoenix at 12-12 coming into tonight. Jackies at 13-10. And now a foul on the play, this time definitely on Sam McDaniel. Let's head courtside to Case.
Yeah, that last score for the Jack Jumpers was actually basket interference, was called by referee Vaughan Mabry. So that's why the 2 points had counted. But it was interesting, Simon Mitchell called that timeout and was talking to his players. And I had to look at the scoreboard because they're 12 points up, but he could sense something. He could sense a shift in momentum was coming. And out of that timeout, we've certainly seen that from the Jack Jumpers. Their time is right now inside the last 3 minutes of the third here. They need to make a statement and try and work their way back into the equation.
Well, if I'm Simon Mitchell and if he's nervous right now, and I would be with that man on screen, Scott Roth, he's a magician in terms of just knowing how to play out the 40 minutes and get his men to do the right thing at the right time. I'm putting Williams back in. I'm putting Brokoff back in, and obviously they've just put Creaky back in, but those guys are playing, and obviously Gary Brown just came back into the game as well. This ain't sharing participation time anymore. You've got 3 minutes in the third. We know, as cliche as it is, games are won in the third, and right now you want your best players on the court.
100%, Jen. You get your rest in the offseason.
Creek and Brown have been influential tonight. Brown with the handle, flings it to the corner. Cal, no good. And that is going to be a Tassie ball. Scott Roth was pleased with the energy from his team on that defensive possession.
Dodged a bit of a bullet. Gary Brown just weaved his way into the key. Found a wide open corner shooter, but they just can't knock these three shots. They just can't knock the three-pointer down. Shooting 27% from three.
Cal is 1 of 7 for the Phoenix. Mitch Creek 0 of 5. Ryan Brokoff at 2 of 4. They haven't been able to find the stroke tonight, the Phoenix. Much like Monday night, those woes from downtown have carried on. They fixed the other parts of their game. Just the stroke still yet to find. That man's found his stroke tonight. McVeigh again, he's up to 15 with his second 3 of the night.
Tough. Shot fake, one dribble, step back. McVeigh. Sean McDonald got bailed out. You don't expect the guy of this size to have footwork like that on his three-point shot, but Jack has proven over the season that he can make that.
He's been in the Amy replay plenty of times as Jack McVeigh. Step back against Adelaide was like a moonwalk, moon hop back. Felt like he went the whole length of the floor behind the three-point line, and then it has become somewhat of a patented move. And I mean, he's expanded his game. I remember calling a lot of his basketball in Adelaide a few years ago when he was more of a low post scorer. He'd pick and pop the occasional 3, but now he's a real weapon from out there.
You can tell when the guy's added something to his game. When Kevin Durant won MVP back in the day, they asked him what he did in the offseason. He said, I got to get better. And he's like, we already the MVP. That's the kind of attitude that every player should have, and Jack has already shown this by just expanding his game every year.
Talk so much about him. He's a player that you know well as well, John Casey, having seen a lot of him up close and personal over the years.
Yeah, what a great guy he is, not just for the Jack Jumpers, but for basketball in general, and doing great things for the Boomers as well. But I wanted to add that Jack McVeigh, you know, he had an injury, has to come off the bench now. In his last 4 games, he's hit 12 of 19 threes at 63%. He is all about getting better, no matter the circumstances.
If you can improve on 63%, you're doing something right as well. Coach, that is for sure. Here's the Jet on the offensive end for Tassie. They've strung a few possessions together here of the Jackies. 9-0 run. They are coming with a hurry. McDonald gets inside, adds 2 more, back to 3 points.
Just like that, Jen. Just like that. We saw it coming. We felt it coming. And the Jack Jumpers just keep applying the pressure. They're never out of the fight.
You knew they were going to make a run at some point. Can the Phoenix answer? Brockhoff off the baseline, yes. Bit of a nerve settler. 61-56. 50 seconds remaining in the third period. Kelly to Majet to the mid-range. That one's offline.
Phoenix want to just consolidate these last 40 seconds. It's a 2-for-1 situation, but make sure you don't get a bad one.
Underneath, Smith-Milner makes a tough finish. Goes down clutching his ankle as he does it.
Yeah, he fell pretty heavily there on that ankle. I was just about to say his minutes have been actually pretty good from Smith-Milner. He's had the 5 points to his name, a couple of rebounds, and just filled that role. He's only played the 5.5 minutes, as you see here off that pick and roll. Just rolls really nicely, but comes down quite heavily on that ankle.
Oh, you're like me, Jen. You can't look at injuries in slow motion.
No.
We both look away.
No, that's up to Joel to describe to the audience, but I'm pretty sure most saw it.
Anyone that knows me knows that I'm no good with that stuff either. So if I've got to describe it, we're in all kinds of trouble.
63-56. Half a minute remaining in the third. Smith-Milner is cash at the line. And so a couple of back-to-back buckets for the Phoenix after Tassie cut it down to a 3-point gap at 56-59. It was 14 earlier in the period. A 9 or 11-0 run from Tassie. Now a little bit of a mini run for the Phoenix at 5-0 as Brown and Majet get tangled up at midcourt.
And that's an unfortunate foul. It sends Tassie to the foul line and Phoenix into the bonus. Nice to see them up the ante a little bit as we see Big Sauce coming back into the game.
Yeah, Gary had done such a good job denying Josh all over the floor, but then he just, like you say, just overzealous. Foul discipline is huge, but Josh is having a bit of an off night.
The whole JackJumpers from the foul line aren't shooting great. 60%, 12 of 20 on the night. They normally average 76 or just a touch over. Third in the league, and it's two players in this game that have missed double from the foul line for the JackJumpers.
Not what they needed going into three-quarter time by any stretch of the imagination. Brown's got a couple of seconds to work with. He's gonna have to launch it. And he misses. And it is well and truly game on at three-quarter time. The Phoenix, they are fighting to stay in the finals hunt. The JackJumpers trying to chase them down at Southeast Melbourne by 8 with a quarter to play. All to play for with a quarter remaining here in Launceston. A game that is rich in playoff ramifications. And the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix trying to keep their season alive. Lead by 8 over the Tasmania JackJumpers at three-quarter time, 64-56. Tassie got it back to within 3 in that term on an 11-0 run. Southeast Melbourne closed the quarter on a 5-0 run. It's 8 as we go into the final period. Joel Peterson, Jenny Screen, Damon Lowry with you. John Casey's courtside with us this evening. A big game with big implications. And Brockhoff starts it with a big defensive play as he swats that one out. A little bit of contact in there as well as McDonald made his way through. It'll be a Jackie's baseline ball. Final period starting with Majette, McVeigh, McDonald, Bairstow and Weeks for Tassie, Cal, Brown, Williams, Brockhoff and Creek. So the starting lineup out there for the Phoenix. And the game really is poised now for someone to take it by the scruff of the neck. This starts with a turnover for the Phoenix.
This is one of those interesting lineups Scott Roth can throw at you, because like I said before, there's no real wrong answer. Any 5 ants work, seems like. But he's got 3 guards out here on the floor. Weeksy, Sean McDonald, and Josh Majette. Now, you think one of those guys is going to have to guard this guy right here, Trey Kells. They obviously put a little bit bigger Sean McDonald on him, but let's see if the Phoenix try to post up one of these guards.
Kell kicks it cross court off the hands of Majette. So who's it going to be in this final quarter here? Who's this game primed for in terms of someone to step up and take it over?
Well, we know Mitch Creek does Mitch Creek things, and he's an MVP candidate for that reason. He only had the 2 points in the third quarter, so look for the ball to go through him. He's not shooting at a great clip, 25. He's forced a couple. Probably potentially some fouls could have been called his way. I wouldn't be surprised if Rowdy gets back in the mix and see him make the shots that he didn't the other night. And on the flip side, could be anyone for the JackJumpers. I mean, obviously McVeigh, he's having quite a good night. Milton Doyle, he's been kept pretty quiet, hasn't he, Damo?
Yeah.
We haven't spoken about him a lot. 3 of 9. So credit to the Phoenix there and that.
And that's the thing with Scott. If you're not on, he's got that much to choose from. So obviously we thought Milton Doyle was going to have a big say in this, and he still might. But for now, he's got to watch from the bench as Ryan misses a 3 from the 45.
Jackie's back the other way. Here's Bairstow looking for an outlet. Weeks provides it. Step back from Jared Weeks. Brockhoff goes up among the trees.
This is what I mean about Rowdy, how he plays both ends. He misses the 3 on one end, but he gets the rebound on the other end. He just plays basketball.
Williams is fighting for position down there. Can't get it to go. Bairstow had a hand on the rim. And Tassie come up with the loose ball. McVeigh for 3. Rowdy's in there again for another rebound. And then it's flung up the court by Brown, picked off by Majette. McVeigh. Now McDonald. That doesn't go.
Wow.
Whoever's operating the gas cannons on the basket stanchion in Tassie thought it did, because they were ready to fire.
Well, we know that McDonald, he can shoot the 3. He's in the JackJumpers lineup for that reason. Would have been nice out of that one, found the bottom of the net, but you can see why Scott Roth has put in the guards. He's trying to get up and in, play at a different pace. But the Phoenix just have to go back to simple basketball. Use the mismatch, get the hands in Williams and Trey Kell's hand down in the low block and go to work.
Trey Kell opens the scoring in the 4th quarter. Jared Weeks can't do the same for the JackJumpers. Bairstow hits the floor. So 10-point Southeast Melbourne lead. Bit of a stalemate to start this final period.
Phoenix dodged the bullet then. Creaky went and doubled a random, I guess, advised double on Jack McVeigh. Left a wide open Jared Weeks, who's been shooting the lights out the entire season. When you go off and double, I used to do this sometimes, Jenny, get myself in trouble. I would just think it'd be a good idea to double, but I wouldn't tell my teammates. So now you got no rotation, and you giving up wide open shots.
And you do that as a point guard, as a leader of your team, Damo. Shame on you, man.
You told us the only thing you got in trouble for was being in the gym too much, Damo.
Yeah, Brendan Joyce, he was a stickler for that kind of stuff.
10-point Southeast Melbourne lead. Gary Brown, what can he provide? Bit strong on the 3 ball. Doyle and Williams fight for the rebound, and Doyle does a good job. having checked into the game. 18 for Creek, 15 for McVeigh for the JackJumpers. Doyle has 10 on 3 of 9 shooting.
And we know he can get going in a short amount of time, so watch this space, people at home. With 7 and a bit minutes to go, what Milton Doyle can do. It's been a grind in the offensive end for the JackJumpers, shooting at 38% on the night. But the great thing is they're holding Phoenix to 66 as well. They're second in the league at points against, with just 82 in that category. So they're doing the job. They've just got to find the bottom of the net on some of them as well.
You don't want to be giving away sloppy fouls. Creaky just gets a little basic sloppy foul right there. You don't want to get this team in the bonus. And as Clint Steindl also checks in, who's only played a handful of minutes this game.
Here's McVeigh, got Creek in the air. Couldn't bury the 3 ball. Could see a little Creek-McVeigh showdown down the stretch here, and that would be fun. Been chirping at each other all night, those two. Brown uses the pick and then goes the other way. That's got to be waved off.
See, that's the dilemma. I want Clint Steindl on the court to make shots, but now he's guarding Gary Brown. That's a mismatch. So you got to just roll the dice, and hopefully Clint can give you a couple of threes, and hopefully he can just contain with his length. Uh-oh, Isaac White music.
White's into the game for the first time this evening. Sort of the best high-volume three-point shooter in the league. So among those who take them and make them regularly, White's shooting them at 45.5% this season. And there is the source float again from the free throw line. He just goes back to that every time, does Alan Williams, and he's got 10 points tonight.
Did a good job, Saucer, reading that cross screen. Instead of trying to fight his way to the block, he just strolled to the middle of the key.
Kelly outside, Steindl puts it on the floor, loses the handle, regathers and flips it in. Great play from Clint Steindl. Made the best of a bad situation there. Trey Cowell took a bit of contact on the play. Some big runs in that third period. It was 11-0 at one stage for Tassie. They cut the margin to 3 at 59-56. South East Melbourne scored the final 5 points of the third term. Opened with the first 4 of the last. And the first bucket for the JackJumpers on their last possession. Williams gets inside, gets a whistle.
Good decision by Rowdy. I was just thinking, the Phoenix don't want to play to not lose. They got to make sure they keep playing their style. And nice little dribble handoff there. Got Rowdy going to the paint. Drew to help and found Big Sauce, and he's pretty reliable from the foul line. .78.5% on the season for Big Sauce. 4 of 5 tonight. Cans the first one. And a couple of youngsters in the crowd pleading for buckets and, well, for burgers tonight. In Lonnie. There's been none forthcoming from this Phoenix side, who have been far tidier at the free throw line tonight than they were on Monday. 17 of 21 for 81% this evening. Milton Doyle runs the offense for the JackJumpers. Again, you get the feeling they're not going to go away as Magnay gets upstairs on the lob.
And I'd love to see that a little bit more. We know Brisbane created havoc through Jason Cadee in that middle pick and roll the other night in the loss against Brisbane. And we haven't seen that a lot with Milton Doyle in the middle corridor. We've seen it on the wing a little bit, especially in the first half. But I'd love to see them go to that a little bit more and put the pick and roll D under pressure.
Will Magnay getting involved on the Amy replay. Throwing it down.
We've said it almost every game that we've done a Phoenix game, when Sauce plays in that deep drop, and he's so susceptible, he's in no man's land. And Milton Doyle, you know they're going to come right back down and do it again. Same exact play. Here he comes. But this time they try to trap him a little bit.
So now Doyle comes around the screen, flings it to Steindl in the corner. That won't go. Foul under the basket. After a turnover for the Phoenix on the last possession, a rare one for them so far tonight with just 7. It's going to be a JackJumpers ball after the loose ball foul.
And you can just see how exquisite Milton Doyle is out of a ball screen, too, because even though he didn't hit the roller that time, he found a wide-open Clinton Steiner. He's creating havoc, and the Phoenix going to have to tighten up their ball screen defense.
5.5 minutes left. Both of them have got 4 team fouls already in this period as Doyle jacks up the 3. Creek pulls it down for rebound number 10 of the game to go with 18 points and 3 assists. Brockhoff out to Adnam. Lines up the triple and cans it.
Good patient offense by the Phoenix. Creek could have probably attacked, then he turned it down. And Kyle won't hesitate. That's one guy who will back himself. So at this stage with a 5-minute game to go, a shot like that might not be a dagger, but I think it's not far away.
It's certainly significant. As Doyle comes down the other end and gets the mid-ranger to go.
He's got 5 assists to his name, Milton Doyle. I'd love to see him take over the game a little bit. He's being a bit selfless at the moment, trying to distribute a little bit more, but we know how much of a prolific shooter he can be, and I'd love to see him dominating this last 4.5 minutes.
So good along with McVeigh in that last quarter against Adelaide last Thursday. Miss from Adnam on the other end. Here comes Doyle again. Is it the opportunity for Milton Doyle to take over? Shares it with Kelly. Steindl flashes across the top of the three-point line. Beautiful move from Milton Doyle. Here he comes, and here come the Jackies.
Milton is involved in everything. All decisions will be made by him for these last 4 minutes.
Doyle's up to 14. Creek's got 18 on the other end. Alan Williams is somewhere out in the back blocks of Launceston, having been pushed through the baseline. Creek with a finger roll, soft touch.
Did he headbutt it? Did 15 headbutt it? Delay a game for what? Delay a game for what?
This is where Big Sauce got to be careful. He's throwing his weight around a little bit, and he's looking at Vaughn, and Vaughn's looking at him. And he just needs to stay engaged. Don't give away anything silly.
Lost his headband among the physicality down low, and then headbutted the ball on the way back. Might have made the argument, I was just trying to get my headband back on. Probably wasn't going to fly with Vaughan Maybury. So an important bucket for the Phoenix to push it back out to an 11-point lead with 3:30 remaining. Doyle going back to work. He's fouled on the way through. Basket won't count, but they're in the bonus.
All right, Jen, tell me right now, what are we going to do with this ball screen with Milton Doyle? He's causing havoc.
Well, the drops action, you've either got to take Williams out of it, or you've got to change up the defense. You've got to show a little bit more, but we know that Williams isn't light of foot. They can switch it if need be, but they've got to change something. They can trap or try to if they will, because we know Milton Doyle now, with the game on the line, he's going to want to put it more at the rim than potentially looking to pass, but it's a tough one.
Big moments here with Hungry Jack's NBL. You can whopper your way to LA. Grab any large burger meal at Hungry Jack's and enter your receipt code to win 4 tickets, flights, spending money, and accommodation to a basketball game in the USA. Into now, you can head to hungryjacks.com.au/whopper LA. Doyle gets a couple at the line. Back to a single-digit game. 3 possessions in it. Creek to Williams, who keeps that Phoenix scoreboard ticking over.
Good job by Mitch Creek breaking that pressure. Gary Brown gave it up early to get out of the double team, and Mitch led the break. Got Sauce an easy deuce just to take a little...
Oh, Kelly with a big poster dunk. Taking it right into the heart of the defense.
He's got unassuming hops, don't he? You don't expect it.
Maybe that gets them going late here, the JackJumpers. Here's Junior Madut for 3. Oh, Creek with strength pulls down the rebounds.
And that's a 15 offensive rebound, and that has been the night for the Phoenix.
Step back from Brown. Huge 3-ball.
You could almost say good night if you're the JackJumpers. They've rotated 13 players in this contest tonight. Damien, you said to me, how are you going to do it? Well, he's done it, Scott Roth, and he's tried many different combinations tonight, as we see. Kelly hitting another beautiful stride, trying to do whatever he can, but there's been a lot of rotations for the JackJumpers and none has really worked. They've gone small, they've gone big, and tonight just hasn't been their night. They haven't been able to find the bottom of the net.
It'll take something special down the stretch here for the JackJumpers. Southeast Melbourne just need to keep banking victories, and this would be a big one. Cal on the turnaround, foul under the basket. Creek went flying into the basket stanchion. Here's the dunk from Kelly, right over the top of Alan Williams.
And then Big Sauce is sagging so far off. Like, I'm all for the imports playing, but I almost can't play. Like, if Sauce is going to give me buckets on one end, on defense, you're too much of a liability the way they're attacking you. So I might need to bring in somebody else, Dane Pinot, Brockhoff, somebody else to play that spot because everybody's going at him.
So 9-point lead for Southeast Melbourne, 80-71, with 1 minute and 47 seconds remaining. Scott Roth talking things over with his team, and Mitch Creek will go to the free throw line. On the night here for Creek.
He's definitely been quiet in the second half. Just the 4 points was colossal in that first quarter. At halftime, he had the 16 and 7 rebounds as well. Huge factor in this team and their push and their run towards the playoffs. He just needs a couple more players as he falls short on that one.
You went in early, Mitch.
Couldn't get the second to go. And we are going to get a timeout. Both sides will talk it over. It's a 10-point game, 1 minute 47 remaining. Southeast Melbourne 81 to Tassie 71. What do you think Scott Roth would be discussing here, Damon?
Well, he needs to speed the pace up. He only got 1 minute and 47 seconds to go, so it's not that many possessions left. So I think the matchup they're looking to attack is whoever Big Sauce is guarding, they put him in ball screens, or just hitting whoever he's guarding, let him go one-on-one. If you're the Phoenix, the only way you lose this game is to turn the ball over and take quick shots.
Hit the nail on the head is getting the ball through hands, using that whole shot clock, getting it down to late shot clock kind of scenarios. Pick and roll actions to down the end with Gary Brown with the ball in his hands, creating for his teammates and making things happen.
They've been in control of this game for the majority of it, Southeast Melbourne. Tassie led in the early stages with the first bucket of the game and haven't led since in the ball game. That's a 10-point lead at the moment. So down the stretch in Lonnie, Southeast Melbourne with a 10-point buffer, hoping to go to 13 and 12 on the season, with Perth, Cairns and a trip to Sydney remaining in the second last round of the season. They don't play in round 18, of course, having played that game against Brisbane earlier in the season. Tassie with Cairns later in the round, Sydney, Perth and a trip to Illawarra to finish. And they need to finish strong here if they're going to get a W tonight. Doyle from way downtown. A little bit of traffic underneath the basket. Simon Mitchell wanted it to go his way. Referees say it's going to stay with Tasmania.
As much as you would like Jack McVay to get the scoreboard ticking over once again, look at the matchups. You got Creaky guarding Jack McVay, so if you try to run a ball screen with anybody, they're going to switch it, and there's no real mismatches. The only ball screen mismatch out there is Big Sauce. So that's why I think Jack has been quiet due to the matchups. They got to find other stuff to run for him.
So baseline ball for the JackJumpers. White, Kelly, McVay, McDonald and Doyle out there for Scott Roth. Cal, Brown, Williams, Brockhoff and Creek have played most of this final period for the Phoenix. And he stepped on the sideline there as Rashard Kelly. Another turnover for the JackJumpers. That is 12 on the evening. And the Phoenix can capitalise and really make things a formality here. Already 14 points from turnovers tonight for South East Melbourne. And the clock rather than the scoreboard now is the thing that the Phoenix really need to worry about. Creek on the block against White. Out to Brown, to Brockhoff to finish things off. Can't get it to go.
Right idea. They punished the mismatch. Creek drew the double team. They got the shot they wanted.
White had it poked away on the other end. And now they've got a minute to close things out here, the Phoenix. A foul on Kelly. Have you been more impressed with the Phoenix tonight or disappointed in the JackJumpers?
A little bit disappointed in the JackJumpers, if I'm being honest. I mean, we knew the bounce back was always going to happen from the Phoenix. Their season's on the line. JackJumpers are in a different little situation. They're trying to find continuity on the offensive end. They've had players in and out. But credit to the Phoenix taking nothing away from them in terms of the grit and the determination they've come out with. But that should be expected. The level of rebounding and effort and defensive, I guess, nous and want and desire should be there every game, regardless of whether your season's on the line. So now the job for the Phoenix is, can they take it into their last remaining games to secure that top 6 position? But for the JackJumpers, I think they could have been a lot better tonight.
Yeah, it's the next game you worry about if you're playing the JackJumpers, because they are the bounce-back team of the league. Once they get themselves, let themselves down, they tend to take it out on the next team they play, whereas the Phoenix, like you said, they had a lot to play for.
Well, the last time they played the Phoenix was a classic example of that. They got it handed to them by Sydney and came back and walloped South East Melbourne in the very next game. They generally don't play badly twice in a row. Scott Roth has instilled a real discipline into this JackJumpers team. For South East Melbourne, they need to show a lot more of what they've shown tonight over their final 3 games of the season, over this round and next. McDonald with the left-hand finish, racing up the floor. Phoenix just try and milk the clock here. They play Perth on Sunday out at the State Basketball Centre. Tassie back in action Friday night with a trip to the red-hot Cairns Taipans. Brown, bang, dagger, ball game. It's going to be a big win for the Phoenix.
Brown's been nasty, just nasty tonight. I mean, he's taking the 12 shots, shooting at a 50% clip, 15 points. Only the 3 assists, but it's what he's created. Maybe it's this 2-pass ahead that he's created. He sees the game a lot earlier than other players do, but I think he's been a real game changer for the Phoenix against the JackJumpers tonight.
Creek goes back in, trying to add to his 21. They came in with a 5-game losing streak, did the South East Melbourne Phoenix. 3 of 9 on the road this season, having lost 8 of their past 9 away from home. And they're going to leave Launceston with a big win in their back pockets. Isaac White gets 2 to go. And time expires. A massive win for South East Melbourne. The Phoenix keep their season alive. And the JackJumpers fall back into the clutches of those fighting for the play-in. South East Melbourne get it done to start round 16, 86-75, with a very impressive win.
Impressive considering their record on the road is 3-9. So it's huge in terms of that. It's huge, a double-point win for them. But they crashed the boards well in that first half. 15-0 boards to finish the game. 14 more scoring shots than the JackJumpers. That, for me, is the game right there.
Mitch Creek led from the front 38 minutes. 38 big minutes. He ran himself into the ground, but he did everything right down the stretch. They was very poor as JackJumpers came out trying to full-court trap. Mitch made sure he took the ball out of bounds. Kick it to Gary, he gets it back, he makes the right decisions, and they come down and they execute. Well done to the Phoenix. They keep their season alive. And the Jack Jumpers is back to the drawing board, but we know they'll bounce back.
It was a big opportunity for them to cement a top 4 spot. They're now 13 and 11, the Jack Jumpers. Perth 1 spot behind them, 12 and 10. Melbourne 13 and 12 round out the top 6. And South East Melbourne improved to 13 and 12 as well. So a winning percentage of .520 on the season so far. Big win for the South East Melbourne Phoenix. The man who was so key to it all was Mitch Creek with 21. He's with John Casey.
Footlocker player of the game here, Mitch Creek. Congratulations, you took care of business there.
Yeah, 75. We for the last 6 losses, I think we averaged giving up 108 or some shit. Like, that is, I'm not to swear on TV, but that's absolutely effing crap. Like, it's not how you play basketball. It's disgusting from us, and you know, we're so much better than that. We had guys out, but then getting guys back in, we thought it was going to click really easily, but it obviously didn't last game. But man, to fight like that here, like, Tassie is so good, and they're so deep, they're so disciplined, they're so good late in the shot clock. Just to get 75 is so proud right now.
That's a big win for you as well. 13, so I'll put you right back in the frame here.
Yeah, we're just taking it one game at a time, man. Like, we can't look at finals too far ahead. We know we've got to win every game. You drop 5 in a row, it's going to put you in a bad spot, but we've got a couple of more games. Got, you know, 2 more at home, sold out crowds. Looking forward to getting home in front of the Phoenix faithful and getting a couple of wins there, hopefully. You
said you were going to shut down Jack McVeigh in the second half. He had 12 at half-time, 15 for the game, so you're true to your word.
Look, he's a great player. He's going to make great plays, but if you come down yelling, you know, they can't guard me and shit like that, you better keep doing it in the second half. I was a little quiet in the third, but we're making good plays. I was rotating early. Sauce had some great finishes. Gary, you know, Ruben, everyone was stepping up and making plays. And, you know, when we're a real cohesive unit and the ball's moving, we're cutting, hitting short, like, far out. It's probably a bit too much for people at home, but, like, in my head, it's what we're doing. And when we do that, we're really hard to guard, so it's exciting.
Congrats, well played.
Thanks, mate.
Colourful character, as always, Mitch Creek, and a very impressive win for the South East Melbourne Phoenix tonight. They get it done by 11, 86-75. A massive victory to keep their season alive over the Tassie Jack Jumpers. Plenty more to come to wrap it all up here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.
Couple of weeks, it's a big win for them tonight.
It's almost a double win because a loss would have meant they would have been 1.5 games out of the top 6. So huge considering their record on the road is 3-9. Simon Mitchell and his men would be happy with that bounce back, especially after the loss against Brisbane.
So Perth, Cairns, and then away to Sydney to finish. So that is a very tough run. For the Jack Jumpers, on the other hand, of course, they back up later this weekend. They've got a trip to Cairns on Friday night. They've won a number of games in a row, their last 6 in a row, Damon. So the Jackies don't have it any easier in their next outing.
No way. Cairns, I mean, goodness, had they lost? I can't remember the last time Cairns lost. So going up there is going to be very tough. And we might even see Keanu Pender back. If so, that just makes them just that much more explosive. So it's going to be a tough run. There's no easy games out there.
There aren't any easy games in this Hungry Jacks NBL23 campaign. It is so exciting to see everything unfolding as we head in towards Heritage Round. There is a lot more to come throughout the course of this weekend, so make sure you tune into everything right through until Sunday afternoon. That's it from us. Thanks to Jen, thanks to Damon, and thanks to John Casey as well. Now we're going to send it over to Nat Edwards and the team with the jump.
Hello there, guys. Great call as always, and a massive win, of course, for the Phoenix, as you just said. Damon, I want to know from you, though, are they going to make it? Are they going to be there?
Nat, I think it's going to be tough. I actually don't think they're going to make it. I'll say it right now. Even though they just got that win today, I just feel like they've just left that run a little bit too late. And the teams in front of them are also playing good basketball, so I think they might miss out.
Big call, Damo.
Well, it is, and the other one, I guess, we've got to turn our attention now also to the Jack Jumpers. Now, they have a little bit, obviously, more margins than the Phoenix, but today, do we see enough in them? Because they didn't shoot the ball that well and playing at home. For whatever reason, that venue, no one seems to shoot the ball well in.
No, they don't. I mean, they rotated 13 players, Drewy, as you would have seen. So continuity, consistency on the offensive end was going to be hard. The rotations are coming thick and fast. The way they played tonight, if they can't find the bottom of the net, it's going to be hard. We know they like to play that defensive, gritty type of basketball. But for me, it's the Adelaide 36ers. I'm the one that thinks that they're going to drop out of the six, to be honest.
Yeah, 1, 2. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.